Easter eggs in video games are always something to look forward to. It's the developer's massive brain idea to put a reference to previous work, fan commitment, and other pop culture in games for players to discover. Some are more elaborate than others, and some Easter eggs go as far as becoming the game itself. Bungie, the developers of games like Halo and Destiny, but you know, their real prized possession, Abuse, have had a really long track record of making wonderful Easter eggs dating back to Halo 2 with the I Love Bees puzzle and the underwear guy, to even teasing the new IP Destiny years before it was revealed to the public in Halo 3 ODST. Bungie is not a stranger to making some fan service and some teasers. Like the dog in Silent Hill, Bungie knows how to take their games seriously even in the biggest of moments. There's one Easter egg that is bigger than all others in Bungie's history and has been a part of not Halo, but Destiny since the alpha of the game back in late 2013. No, not you, Master Chief.
You got something to say to me? Ouch.
No, this Easter egg, unlike many, was actually a community discovery all the way back then, but would not become famous until the beta of the game. An enemy that was coded to be way stronger than originally thought to be, and an enemy that would be in almost every year of content, even the most recent expansion Shadowkeep, which came out in late 2019, to haunt some players even more. So with all that being said, let's meet Randal the Vandal, Destiny, and more specifically Bungie's biggest and longest running Easter egg. Some footage in this video is from players around the community. Their links will be in the description of this video, as well as the music too. Listen here. When I want to go to the store and buy some Easter eggs to crack open some Easter eggs to play video game Easter egg... This is so stupid. Listen, I just want to say a big thanks to Ridge for sponsoring another video and believing in me the way I do in them. They make some amazing wallets that are durable, come in over 30 colors, and are nicely fit for front pockets, so they're thief-proof and they're poke-in-your-butt-proof. If you don't believe me, there's over 30,000 5-star reviews, so you can trust people who aren't talking on the video and get their opinion too. And if you do buy it and don't like it, Ridge has a 90-day 100% refund guarantee. So if this sounds like something you'd like to try out, go to ridge.com/Evan or use code EVAN for 10% off your next wallet. Thanks to Ridge again, and enjoy the video, everybody. Whoa, 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 whoa. Evan, Randal the Vandal is not the biggest Easter egg in Destiny. I mean, look at Outbreak, Whisper, Niobe Labs, the real-life puzzle, Corridors of Time, the basketball court of Oryx, and more. And hey, look at all the Halo ones too. How could you do this? You clickbaiting piece of shit! While I normally would agree with those being bigger, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one as a whole. While all those listed are definitely great, the only one I can truly think of as an Easter egg would be the basketball court of Oryx, which we have already covered and was still a one-time thing. And while yeah, it's pretty cool, it may still be an unsolved mystery, Randal the Vandal really was and still is the Easter egg that triumphs all in Destiny. Plus, a lot of those I wouldn't really call Easter eggs. I would call them secrets. So where and why does this all begin? How about I take you on a journey back into the Cosmodrome and the alpha and beta of Destiny 1. Players were exploring the new area, the Cosmodrome, and really getting all the environment in, while exploring the secrets this place had to offer. I can remember exploring caves and underground tunnels and being scared to walk into a room when every enemy was a question mark. It immersed me into what Destiny had to offer and got me excited to level up even more. One area specifically had a lot of players spending their time in there, and that was called the Forgotten Shore. an area which became infamous for glimmer farming since, well, we all thought glimmer was going to be the best currency when it turned out to not be the case later down the road. But that didn't stop the glimmer farming circle from being a thing. One portion of this land was uninhabitable though. Almost like a Chernobyl radioactive warning label was slapped on as the Rentgen was close to 15,000 here. This cave, the home of the reactor core simply named Reaver Vandal, was a raid boss disguised as a normal enemy. This one fallen would take seemingly years to kill, was already level 8 for the beta while most players were level 4 or 5 and would almost kill you instantly. But only sometimes. This Vandal was so strong at times and normal at others, like a coding bug was out there trying to get you and you wanted to farm. Now, I know what you're saying. Why not just avoid it and move on? Well, it's not that simple. This Vandal was so strong that it ran out of the cave far into the Forgotten Shore, and one of the most common bounties was to kill 10 major fallen enemies, and this one was very convenient because he would just spawn a bunch of times, so players were willing to test this. This Vandal, much like my ex-girlfriend, one day was easy to work with, and then the next, a whole puzzle to figure out. The Destiny community would storm Reddit in a hail of gun-fired messages and PTSD to solve this one, and in two posts, one post by Reddit user Hi My Name is Ross, in a poem titled Too Much Epic for the Forgotten Shore, in which Ross gets the troops rallied behind him in a victory speech unlike any other. So I'm trying to get my last public event yesterday, when I get to the Forgotten Shore and decide to try and roll a Randal to pass my time until PE starts. Dude shows up with a Fogoth level health bar. Game on. 3 max truth rockets later, dude still has 7/8 of his health. When suddenly, the blades of Crota have invaded this earth. Holy shit balls. Randal's got blades. Now I will too. Got a few shots on. He eats that shit like a Belvita breakfast biscuit. When suddenly, a wild, kill the target event appears. You mean now I have a sword, a Randal, that Vandal, and now a Reaver captain? My body is ready. 1 minute later, captain's dead, Randal's dead, and that sword returns to the Hellmouth. Too long didn't read. Killed Randal and his captain with the blade of Crota. Became legend. 2 words. 1 word. Destiny. On the words of that victory, the Reaver Vandal would no longer be called the Reaver Vandal, but instead would be named Randal the Vandal. Documentaries would even be made in his wake.
What if Randal isn't real? What if he is just a myth? Is there a point to life? Is there greater meaning in the universe? Or are we all just random chance? If a Smurf starts to choke, what color does he turn? Why do hot dogs come in packs of 8 and hot dog buns come in packs of 10? If a pizza is round and the garbage can is round, why is the pizza box square? I may never know. Perhaps I'm not meant to know.
Others would try to steal the glory of Randal, like the Blade of Crota and Greg the Dreg, but none could match Randal's prowess. Bungie would go on to acknowledge this story in their end of the year update post, thanking Ross for his service. In The Taken King, Randal would finally be held accountable for his war crimes against the people and be fixed to do proper damage and receive proper damage. But this would not stop the return of Randal all the way down the line when Siva was on the rise of Iron, when Randal the Perfected would be met.
What is this? Whoa!
What?
I don't remember seeing this guy.
What? What guy? Let me see him.
It's Randal the Vandal.
No!
It's Randal the fucking Vandal.
It's not Randal. One day we'll see Randal. I had him spawn once.
Oh, he's
That is random.
he's here! He's here!
What?
He's here!
Oh,
You guys just
no.
ran past him!
Wait, seriously?
Yes, he's here!
Other ads spawned. That's
Don't
why I
kill him,
assumed he
don't
wasn't.
kill
Don't kill him yet.
Wait, He has like a million health.
He's
Oh my
here. We
God.
got him.
Aspect and his crew were the first to dive deep and take on the Battle of Randalsburg, which had Randal with a couple of Shanks in the room. The odds of getting Randal to appear in this server room in the raid was so low that in all of my time trying for this Easter egg, I could only get it to work once ever. This new Randal, like a Mecha Godzilla type of Randal, was even stronger than the original Randal and would take your whole fire team to kill. And that was it, right? Nope, looks like there's a lot left on the video, dude. So Randal would go down in history in Destiny 1, but his legacy would carry on into the sequel, Destiny 2, in which Randal would see a return. Reddit came back in the Siege of the Sunken Isles. Similar to the Forgotten Shore, sat a lone Reaver Vandal that would appear at random on the outskirts. Accompanied by two tiny Shanks again, this well-decorated veteran was back and ready to take some tags as supers, heavy weapons, and double primaries. Oh, I'm sorry. Year 1 of Destiny 2 just does it to me. We're ready to take Randal down yet again. Randal the Vandal was still alive and kicking through all this time as Reddit user Rays___Soviet historically documented. He is well. He patrols a little island with his buddy Shank at the Sunken Isles of Earth, next to where public events start. It was not a simple task. After a great battle, it took 3 of us to take him down while farming events last night. It just happened again today. Legends never die. Randal would take armies to fight and kill, and trust me, he isn't quite done, as he may be dead for now, but Randal would cause all that harm, all that PTSD to the soldiers that hunted him down, as Randal would become a nightmare in Shadowkeep. Once again, in a public space, playing the Altars of Sorrow, players spotted an orangish illusion of a once defeated war criminal named Nightmare Reaver Vandal. This was a literal boss this time, with a raid logo on his left and escorted by one of those copycat named Shanks and prison friend Hank the Shank.
5 seconds and reach puberty, somehow losing his previously deeper voice. Perhaps it was to hide from the sins of the past. It was a long-fought battle, but it was lost. Once again, the spirit of Randal was cursed to walk upon the lands, waiting for his chance to return until this day. The Guardian could feel something was wrong. The nightmares, they started again. The last puppy, dead, over and over. The final mission, the only concern. And though Randal was thwarted this day, the threat ever lingers still. The Reaver will live once more, with patience and time.
Randal was a true nightmare, as it would take an army at the Sorrows to take him down again, and by army, I mean Redditors and Paul Tassi. Randal's nightmare still roams the empty hollows of the moon to this very day, and the rumor is that if you try to kill him swiftly, he will just regain health, the mad lad. So that is Randal the Vandal, the longest lasting and biggest Easter egg in Destiny and Destiny 2. You can bet your ass the army of Redditors will be strapped and ready for when we all return to the Cosmodrome to fight him again. Or he may even be on Europa with the release of Beyond Light. I mean, we are fighting the Fallen after all. Anyways, if you did enjoy this deep dive or whatever this video was, a like would be greatly appreciated, as well as a subscription. Would love to see more of you guys hit the sub button, so if you can, that would be awesome. If you want to tell your war stories about Randal, talk about Destiny, or just talk about gaming in general, come over to my Twitch channel at EvanF1997. Anyways, thanks to Ridge for working with me again, and have a wonderful day. Randal will be watching.
Dude, I'm in a 6th spot, man. Like,
Yeah? Alright, then you
I
stay there.
that. Oh!
Hey, how's that spot there, bud?
What in the... I have ascended and become Master Hunter. What in the Call of Duty Warzone glitch is this?